Okay, recording a video with no fancy script, no extras or anything like that. I said originally I wasn't going to do a video on the whole OGL situation with Wizards of the Coast because there's tons of people that are doing it much better than I could. They have taken the reins and they have gone with it, especially in Destructo Boy. I feel like he's one of the main ones that have led the charge on this. And since I don't tend to run D&D things myself, I'm only ancillary to this because I'm in some D&D games. Don't get me wrong. Like, I'm still part of the community, but it's not my main RPG. But I'm not as deep into it as some other people. But it is still important to the industry as a whole. And like, I have like a Pathfinder game on Thursdays, and I'm in a couple of D&D games. And so even though I run mostly other systems, primarily right now, Cypher system for Money Cook Games, it's not as big for me. However, it is big for everyone in the space in one way or another. Wizards of the Coast has just released a statement, looks like 46 minutes ago. So let's get to that, shall we? Let's read this off. And this, I've read the statement already. There's some wording in here that's sort of like half-truths or whatnot to make themselves seem as not as bad a guys as they could while still saying, okay, we fucked up. So Wizards of the Coast finally released something, and then let's chat about it for a second. An update on the Open Game License OGL by the D&D Beyond staff. We initially conceived of revising the OGL. It was with three major goals in mind. First, we wanted the ability to prevent the use of D&D content from being included in hateful and discriminatory products. Second, we wanted to address those attempts to use D&D in Web3, blockchains, and NFTs by making it clear that OGL content is limited to tabletop role-playing game content like campaigns, modules, and supplements. And third, we wanted to make sure that the OGL is for content creator, the homebrewer, the aspiring designer, our players in the community, not major corporations to use for their own commercial and promotional purposes. Yeah, you're trying to make it sound like they're the bad guys, Wizards. No. Driving these goals were two simple principles. One, our job is to be good stewards of the game. You failed. And two, the OGL exists for the benefit of the fans. Nothing about those principles has wavered for the second. Yeah. Okay, so maybe they admitted that they're like, okay, yeah, we did bad on the first, without saying that. This is why our early drafts of the new OGL included the provisions they did. Now, this is a partial lie, because the fact that 1.1, or if they were going to rename it 2.0, whatever the fuck they were going to do, the fact that it had already had some legal wheelings and dealings within it with things like Patreon and Kickstarters and whatnot like that means that they've already talked to other companies and some deals had already been struck. The OGL 1.1 or 2.0 or whatever they're going to call it, the new OGL, had already had some business contracts and wheeling and dealings done by that point. Several of the other content creators and streamers on like YouTube and stuff like that have already gotten legal advice about this, saying that this was more than just a draft. If they were this deep in it, it's because this is what they were planning to release. This wasn't just like a rough draft. So saying that this is why our early drafts of the new OGL included the provisions they did, that's a lie. That's just a lie. In my opinion, that's a lie. Maybe I'm wrong, but people brought in actual lawyers to talk about this shit, and they have mentioned that the OGL was too deep to have just been like a rough copy by that point. So that's what they were planning to release, and they're trying to make it sound like they didn't. Nevertheless, they're backpedaling. That draft language was provided to content creators and publishers so their feedback could be considered before anything was finalized. In addition to languages allowing us to address discriminatory and hateful conduct, which is good, and clarifying what types of products the OGL covers, our drafts included royalty language designed to apply to large corporations attempting to use OGL content. It was never our intent to impact the vast majority of the community. Yeah. However, it's clear from the reaction that we rolled a 1. Yeah, I'd say so. This isn't just a roll to 1. This is a you're the asshole player that needs to be kicked from the table situation, if you want to use RPG terms. This isn't just rolling a 1. This is you saying, but that's what my character would do. And then the DM being like, no, hey, out, get out. It has become clear that it is no longer possible to fully achieve all 3 goals while staying true to our principles. So here's what we're doing. The next OGL will contain the provisions that allow us to protect and cultivate the inclusive environment we're trying to build and specify that it covers only content for tabletop RPGs. That means that other expressions, such as educational and charitable campaigns, live streams, cosplays, VTT uses, etc., will remain unaffected by any OGL update. Content already released under 1.0A will also unaffected unaffected. So, Pathfinder doesn't have to go to court, even though Pathfinder was like, gloves off, bitch, let's go. Paizo was willing to go to bat, not only for themselves, because obviously it's in their own self-interest, but for everyone else. And they still are. They've made that new open something license. What it will not contain is any royalty structure. So they're giving up on the money thing entirely. It will also not include the license back provision that some people were afraid was a means for us to steal work. It was a means for you to steal work. You said you owned anything under the OGL in that draft. That thought never crossed our minds. Yes, it did. Yes, it did. That is an all-out lie. I guarantee some of the lawyers that were helping to draft it were like, oh, this is great. You can get all this extra intellectual property and stuff. I guarantee it crossed at least some of your minds of the people that were crafting it. That's a lie. So this is a lie. Under any new OGL, you will own the content you create. We won't. We'll see. We'll see. They still haven't released it yet. This is a statement about their new OGL. Any language we put down will be crystal clear and unequivocal on that point. The license back language was intended to protect us and our partners from creators who incorrectly allege that we will steal their work simply because of coincidental similarities. As we continue to invest in the game that we love and move forward with partnerships in film, television, and digital games, the risk is simply too great to ignore. The new OGL will contain provisions to address that risk, but we will do it without a license back and without suggesting we have rights to the content you create. Your ideas and imaginations are what make this game special, and that belong to you. Yeah, you got caught with your hand in the cookie jar. A couple of last thoughts. First, we won't be able to release the new OGL today because we need to make sure we get it right, but it is coming. Well, yeah, because the last OGL you've probably been crafting for a while. You need lawyers to go over it, although the language in it was abysmal. Whatever lawyer you got to write that up you need new lawyers. Second, you're going to hear people say that they won and we lost because making your voices heard forced us to change our plans. Those people will only be half right. No, they're all right. They won and so did we. Yeah, you're trying to make this into a positive. I get it. Corporate speak, whatever. Our plan was always to solicit the input of our community before any update to the OGL. The drafts you've seen were attempting to do just that, drafts. But we want to always delight fans and create experiences together that everyone loves. Really, because your books are shit. There's been a couple okay ones. But I stopped buying books a while ago from you guys because you just release shit. We realized we did not do that this time, and we're sorry for that. Our goal was to get exactly the type of feedback on which provisions worked and which did not. You say that again and again, pretty sure that's a half-truth at best, if not an outright lie. Any change this major could only have been done well if we were willing to take that feedback no matter how it was provided. So we are. Yeah, the entire community rallied against you. I'd say that's decent feedback. Thank you for caring enough to let us know what works and what doesn't, what you need and what scares you. Without knowing that, we can't do our part to make the new OGL match our principles. Finally, we'd appreciate the chance to make this right. We love D&D's devoted players and the creators who take them on so many incredible adventures. We won't let you down. There's a lot not said in this. Let's go back to chatting for a second. Ignore the big blank area. I normally have a chat going here because I normally live stream this. This is a lot of half-truths trying to make themselves seem not as evil as they were trying to be. We didn't even think of doing these things. No, the fact that that stuff was in your draft, and yes, I guess legally they can call it a draft because it wasn't released, but it was in the final stages. It wasn't just like a rough draft anymore. It's obvious that this is what you had planned to do. Not this, the OGL. The words that I have in front of me, that's you after a week and a half of I wouldn't be surprised if some people suddenly got fired, backpedaling. I think they've realized now, the RPG community, whether they were D&D or not, like everybody got in on this. It's near and dear to a lot of people's hearts, whether you play that system right now or not, whether you've moved on or still tinker with it, any degree. If you're in the RPG space, this game, Dugeons and Dragons, is somewhere in your mindscape, most likely. Wizard of the Coast, you're backpedaling. Good on you for that. It is too little, too late. You have just spawned new competitors because you've got other people now making their own open licenses, making their own systems, direct competitors to you that are no longer tied to the OGL, because your OGL, even if the new version of your OGL comes out and it's okay, it doesn't matter. It's poison now. No one wants to touch it because they know that you can flick that switch at any time if you really wanted to. If your shareholders pressure you enough, there is nothing that you can do about it as the creatives of the company to stop that switch from being flipped. Congratulations on trying to fix it finally, but it's too little too late. And that's pretty much my thoughts on it. I don't have much more else to go on. I'm sure people will make videos after this that will go into probably a little bit more detail. But I thought I would at least show everybody what they've written and what they've put in. We're going to leave that in. What they've written and put in. Because, yeah, there's some half-truths and outright lies in this. But all in all, they at least realized they screwed up and didn't just like full steam ahead being like, okay, let's just accept this greediness. Because I think they realized that they wouldn't have crippled the whole company. Once again, Magic the Gathering, which they're screwing up in whole different ways. Magic the Gathering is Wizards' cash cow. That's where like probably 80 to 90% of the income comes from. For the rest of you, keep on playing, keep on rolling those whatever dice you need for the system that you're playing. I play a variety of systems myself. If you want to learn more about Cypher, which is kind of like my RPG of choice, not my only one, I branch out, but my main RPG of choice, then let me know. I have a whole series of videos in my playlists down below to let you know the basics of Cypher. If you want a system that has a really good open license already established, that is expanding, by the way. Monty Cook just announced on Wednesday. But if you want to learn more, I do have a list of playlists. I do have a list of videos below that I've made to teach you the basics of Cypher, as well as there will be a link for the Cypher Unlimited Discord, which is the not official, sort of official Discord for Cypher. I mean, they're basically supported by Monty Cook Games, so kind of official Cypher Discord, but join it anyways, because those people are bloody awesome. And if you just wanted to like ask me questions directly, feel free to join my Discord. Or like you could like private message me if you're part of one of those Discords. I'm open to that. Whatever. As long as it's good shit. Yeah. So as always, stay healthy, stay safe, and have a good one, eh?